my YouTube channel. This is the channel for all plant lovers out there that don't really know where to start. I'm going to give you 5 easy tips on what to do before you get your plants and how to make them thrive and survive. And before the plant police comes to get me, this is what works for me, and hopefully it will work for you too. Okay, tip number 1. Let me get this beauty out here. Always have a pot with holes underneath it, because if you have those holes, the water can run out and the roots won't rot. If you just have the plant in this, the roots will just sit in water and they will rot. And another tip is to let the water run out before you put it back in the pot when you water it. Another thing that's super important is when to water. You can't just have a weekly schedule where you say, okay, I'm gonna water all my plants on a weekly basis, because 1, each plant is different, and 2, the climate is different everywhere, so you can't just Google either. But what you can do is, I'm gonna take this out of here and I'm gonna show you. Just put your finger up in here and feel the soil. Put it down so that you can actually feel the soil. And if it's dry, then it's time to water it. And if it's still a bit moist, then and you have some dirt sitting on your finger when you get it up, then there's no need to water it. And then just wait. Please just wait. Tip number 3 is also about watering, because we tend to love our plants so much and we just want to give them so much love, so we tend to overwater. But watering too little is much better than watering too much. For example, this plant, it loves water, but I still let it dry out and let the leaves start drooping. You can see already that this plant is drooping a bit, and I watered it just a couple of days ago. But always underwater rather than overwater, because if these roots rot, there's no easy fix. But if the soil just gets dry, it's a very easy fix. Just water. So my 4th tip is about light. You need to give your plants light. Light and water, that's the most important things they need. And you can see here on my monstera, this has gotten a new leaf and it's all light, and that means it hasn't gotten enough light yet, but it will eventually turn into this dark green color if it gets enough light. If I put it in a dark room and it doesn't get any sun or energy from the sun, then it will just stay that color, or probably even turn brown or something. I know there are some plants where it's like, if you Google it, will be like, this plant doesn't need light at all, we can just put it in a dark room and it will survive. And that's okay if you just want your plant to survive. For example, a set plant, that's one of those plants that don't need that much light. It will survive if you put it in a dark room, but it won't thrive and it won't grow. So if you want to show your plant some love, give it enough light. Okay, so my 5th and last tip is also about light, and it's not about giving it too much. I know, it's like, you need to give your plants water, but not too much. You need to give your plants light, but not too much. But that's what I'm going to show you now. So this plant, for example, is a monstera, and you can see it in tropical areas where the sun is scorching all day, and it survives and looks gorgeous. But this monstera, I don't know where it has been grown, but I know that it hasn't been standing in the ground and gotten lots of sun before. So what you should do is think of your plant as a human being that's been inside all winter. Would you just go outside and leave it out there in the scorching sun without any sunscreen? No. And unfortunately, we can't give our plants sunscreen, but we can prevent them from burning by making it get used to the sun. So what you can do is just try to put your plant out for 5 minutes one day, and the next day 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes, and then eventually it will be able to stand out in the sun all day. You can just stand outside. You don't need to put it in and out. Okay, so I'm all new, so I'm probably not the best video maker you've ever seen, but if you want to join my journey on becoming a YouTuber and on my plant journey, then please hit subscribe and maybe give me a like. Thank you.